Hi everyone and welcome back. So in the previous video we have discussed about the database integration, like we can actually integrate nestjs with the TypeORM or sequelize or any other framework and any other library which indirectly will talk to mysql, postgres or a mongodb, right? So there is a ORM layer which can be mongoose, which can be sequelize, which can be TypeORM, and you will be talking to the different database. So now what we just need is we just need our Docker setup like Docker Compose and all these things we need to actually run the Postgres container, and then we can actually connect directly with our code. So in our last video, we created this database module, right? This is the DB module we have created. We are passing all the connection options and we were calling this for root method from our domain module. So this is our domain module. We are doing database module.forRoot, passing all the entities and for feature. Now what is the next thing we have to do now is our database connection is working fine. We are able to connect to the database. Everything is fine. Now we can start creating the entities. Entities means like the database representation of our class, right? So what we will do is we'll go to a particular module and we will create all our entities. So entities are nothing but a simple classes, and then we already importing all the entities here, right? So those entities will be imported and you should be able to trigger whatever you want on that particular entity. Okay, so let's see that. Because when you are going to write an APIs, you will be connecting to the database, a lot of things you will do, and you will be fetching, reading, writing from the database. So here in the entities, we can actually create user.ts. This is the entity, and we are reading this entity from our system, from this type of, let's say we have this user entity, a simple set of columns. Okay, I will just mark them as a public and all are required. Sorry. Okay, so I have these many fields. So what we can do is, this is the entity we have created. Now we can actually use our TypeORM CLI to do a lot of things after creating the entity. There are two ways. Either you have the entity, you can create the database table, or you have the entities, you can also write a migrations and run the migration before, like parallelly while you are starting the application. So you always have the database table created. I will just show you how it is going to work. So what we can do is we will go to the container. Okay, so let me open a new terminal window for us. So through this terminal we can actually get into inside the container, and then you should be able to run the different set of commands. Okay, so what we can do is new tab, and we'll go inside the container. So we'll just use a docker ps command. We are inside this container, and now we can run few commands. Let's say npm run dbsync. So what this command will do is it actually looks into your entities. If the entities are already created, then it will actually try to convert those entities into the database table, right? So here we have a different command: npm run dbsync, npm run migration generate, npm run db create. You can also create a database if you don't have, and you can actually generate a new migration, and then you will write a code. Okay, I want to create a table or alter a table through that migration. So it's connecting to the database, and currently let's do npm run build. I think it is not able to find the migration. So migrations are, if you just look into the code, it is actually using ormconfig.ts to run all these things. And here we are looking into this migrations, it is picking from src migration folder. So if we see dist, so this is the thing, we are not having the src folder, so it is dist app. Okay, let's modify this. dist app migration, all the entities are here. That depends on the ts config file, how you are actually creating your dist folder. Currently I don't have a test cases. I think that's why it has removed that parent src folder. So I have a dist app, all these folders. This is my orm config.ts. So inside app you can see domain, and let me run the build here. So we have created the entities inside a domain folder, right? That is not there. It means we have to trigger a build. So we can run the build also. So if we do the build here, it is volume mount. So whatever the code change we have done, that should be available inside a container also. Otherwise we will keep this another tab open. We will do npm run build, and then the ts file will be transpiled, and then we can do the npm run db sync, npm run migration generate, all these commands. So this orm config.ts is an important part, because here we are defining all the things, and this is my package.json. Inside package.json we have all these commands: npm run TypeORM, CLI, generate, migration generate, db sync. Even the test case coverage, we will see how to write all these things. For now, let's see if we just go to our dist folder, and we have entities. Okay, we have everything. Now I think when we run db sync, we should be able to say things. Don't need to go inside dist. Let's come out and npm run db sync. Okay, what are the other commands after this? We can actually do a migration generate and your migration file name. Okay, so the new generated migration, it will put inside src migrations folder. In source we have migration folder we can create. Okay, so this command is running. Let's wait for it, and then we can run all the other commands like migration generate, and we can just create a new migrations using this. So after this, after all these things happens, like we have the table, we have the entities created, we might have migration also created. That's like how you want to do it. What I do is I always create entities and do npm run db sync. It will create the entity, then I copy the sequels and use the same sequel while writing the migration queries. I mean, that helps, like you will not end up doing the mismatch of the columns and types. Okay, now inside, if you see the domain, here you can add your controllers and your services. So here you will add user controller.ts. Here you will write your user routes, and inside service we can create user service.ts. Now this user service will talk to the user repository. The user repository is nothing but the representation of the user table using TypeORM, because with the help of that we should be able to call all these different methods like find one, find all, find by id, and delete, which TypeORM provides. I mean, particularly any ORM provides, because ORMs are the way to provide you these interface, and then you can call a particular method to access things. Okay, so if you just see, okay, database synchronization done, it has created a table. So this is what we want. Now we can write a service first, and then after one service is done, then service will be a simple, like you'll just writing injectable. I can use existing table. I can use existing template for writing this user service. Okay, we are going to define the methods, and here inside a constructor you will be injecting a model, you will be injecting a particular repository. Okay, so that we will do. So here we can use some existing template to write our service. So it should be injectable service, and we can simply create export default class user service, and here we will write constructor. Inside constructor we will do the dependency injection of repository, right? So I will just add this, and then I will explain what we are doing here. So we will be adding the dependency injection of that repository. Our repository is user, I mean the table, and the type is user, and this is user repo we have. Right now what it will do is it will just provide us a way to query the database table. Okay, we just need to import all these things we have, inject repositories, injectable and all, from TypeORM, and now we can just add all our helper methods. So this user is an entity we have created. If it is a different name, we will import that. Okay, it's just a user only, so we can import, we can add this, we can add user. We will add these later. Now we can actually create the methods, okay, like create, update, delete. I will not go into the deep, but just providing you a way like how we are doing it. Public async, let's say create, simple. We might be getting some data, and then here you will put a try catch block, and inside this try catch you will be writing your actual operation. Okay, so inside this what we are doing is we will be creating a user, const user equal to, okay, and then you can set all the attributes, or you can also pass all the parameters here, like this user dot set, something like this. So we created a user object. Now user dot name, all the properties we wanted to define. You can do the dependency injection of any particular table, address, shopping cart, product, and anything, and you can access that entity, and you will write the different methods. This is a service. Similarly, you will write a controller for these, and controllers will call these service methods. You will create the entity, update, delete, you will be doing a join, you will be writing a query builder. All these things you can do here. Okay, so this is pretty much about this particular section where we are talking about the nestjs and TypeORM. So this is actually second part of the whole series. First is the basic building blocks, second is understanding nestjs with the TypeORM, maybe sequelize, mongoose, you can explore, but this is how it works. I will commit this code so you can also spin up the whole setup using Docker and can see how it is running. And we have this nice CLI, so you can actually run the migrations, you can create the new migrations, you can actually do the DB sync, so it will create the database tables for you. Okay, thanks everyone.